How you guys doing? John, Indoor Hydroponics. Welcome back. I've said this a bunch of times, but I'll say it again. The foundation for every plant starts at the seedling or transplant stage. If you mess that part up, chances are your plant will never reach its maximum potential, so we have to treat them as children, as babies. In the north, it's a spring, and typically in our greenhouses, all our choice tomatoes that are high quality, strong, are ready way too early because the weather's not ready for transplants. So what do? You wait for warmer weather, you go back to the greenhouses, and what happens? They're all root bound, tall, and leggy, and we can't have that. So in this episode, we're going to create a super soil to upsize these premium transplants and get them under some grow lights. So sit back. This is going to be intense, man. Lots of stuff going on in this one. Happy Frog is going to be our base potting mix. We're going to add in some azomite for those 90 different minerals it provides. It'll break down over the course of the season. The plant will take it up, which will make the fruit taste better and provide a lot more disease resistance for the plant. We're going to go with earthworm castings, the best natural organic fertilizer, in my opinion. We're going to go with kelp meal for the minerals, cottonseed meal for cellular generation and nitrogen. We're going to go with bone meal for calcium, potassium, potash. We're going to go with tomato tone, which is great organic fertilizer with lots of different amendments. And this is what I call the dry mix. Now, it's important to get this stuff mixed up really well. Do it a couple of times before we add our wet mix. So spend some time mixing that up. We're going to get a high-end quality compost and manure, and that's our wet mix. It's a little moist. You know what I mean? Anyway, spend some real quality time mixing that stuff up. You've got all these great nutrients in there. Make sure they're equally dispersed. We've got 2-gallon grow bags that I bought at the hydroponic store for $0.05 a piece. Just get the cheap ones because this is just a temporary home for these tomatoes. Got them filled up about halfway. Pulled out the 4 best seedlings I could find in the entire greenhouse that I wanted to kind of baby along. And I've got 3 different varieties across 4 plants, beefsteaks for the most part. We'll get to that later. Now we take it next level. Distilled water. Mix up at the appropriate manufacturer's instructions with Bigfoot mycorrhiza. That stuff's got biochar in it. It's got kelp meal in it. It's got earthworm castings in it. But most importantly, we're looking for that mycorrhiza. We're trying to activate that stuff and make it bond to the root of the plant. That helps the plant throughout the entire grow process take up more nutrient and water, which leads to greater production. It's a scientific fact, people. Anyways, we let those root balls soak in that for a good 20 minutes, and now we're going to trim the bottom leaves off these seedlings because all that good fuzzy fiber that runs up that stem are all potential roots, and we want to get as much of the stem buried as possible to develop a greater root mass and root system. As they say, the more roots, the more fruits, and that is true. So we drop our seedling in about halfway and then fill it up all the way to the leaves. We give that a good water, and this thing is ready. Now, guys, this mix will heat up a little bit, so don't do this with like cold weather vegetables. Do it with tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers. Warm weather vegetables is good for this super soil. Transferred them into some 10-gallon totes just to catch the water for when I'm watering. Drop them under some grow lights. This does not have to be anything intricate. You could even do LED or 5500 watt grow lights, and we wait. I'm doing it under 400 watt metal halide, by the way, but we wait now for warmer weather. For me, that's when the highs get into the 70s and the lows don't drop below the 50s, which is perfect transplant weather for tomatoes in the spring, at least in the north. Got 3 varieties here again, but I'm beginning that hardening off process to prevent transplant shock, and that is just introducing these plants a few hours a day, I don't know, over a course of 4 or 5 days, and getting them acclimated to the outside so that when we transplant them, they're not shocked. What do I got in here? I've got a beef master, a big boy, and 2 beefsteaks. Now, guys, once these things are hardened off and ready for transplant, we are ready to transplant them, which involves a razor blade and shovels, additional amendments, and some compost tea, but that's another video. This is to get a jump start on the season, guys, with super healthy plants, and you will be in production mode weeks before your neighbors. So give this super soil a try. It's really good, all organic. Plants love it, and you're going to have seedlings and transplants that are far beyond anyone else at this point in the process. As always, guys, love you. Thank you for checking me out again, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.